First contact and deception. In the vast expanse of the Milky Way, humanity had long wondered if they were alone. The answer came on a crisp autumn morning in 2157, when a sleek, silver spacecraft appeared in Earth's orbit. The vessel belonged to the Zarquin, an advanced alien race that claimed to seek peaceful relations with Earth. As news of first contact spread, the world erupted in a mix of excitement and apprehension. Global leaders scrambled to organize a welcoming committee, while scientists prepared a barrage of questions about the cosmos. The Zarquin, with their iridescent skin and 4 arms, cut imposing figures as they disembarked from their ship at the United Nations headquarters in New York. "We come in peace," their ambassador, Selthor, declared in perfect English. "We have traveled across the stars to share knowledge and foster friendship between our species." Over the following months, the Zarquin shared glimpses of their advanced technology. They offered solutions to some of Earth's most pressing problems: clean energy, disease eradication, and even limited space travel beyond our solar system. Humanity marveled at these advancements, and a sense of optimism swept across the globe. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, a brilliant xenobiologist, was among the first humans invited aboard the Zarquin vessel. As she explored their ship, she couldn't shake a nagging feeling that something was amiss. The Zarquin were undoubtedly advanced, but there were inconsistencies in their behavior and technology that didn't add up. Why would a species capable of interstellar travel still use such primitive data storage systems? She mused to herself, noting the clunky devices that seemed out of place among their other tech. Elena's suspicions grew as she observed the Zarquin interacting with her fellow scientists. There was a predatory gleam in their eyes, a hunger that seemed at odds with their proclaimed peaceful intentions. She began to document her observations, careful to keep her concerns hidden from both the aliens and her excited colleagues. As humanity eagerly embraced the promise of a brighter future, governments around the world began to integrate Zarquin technology into their infrastructure. Space programs were overhauled, and joint human-Zarquin missions were planned to nearby star systems. Meanwhile, Elena continued her investigation. Late one night, as she pored over her notes in her lab, she stumbled upon a disturbing pattern. The Zarquin's gifts all seemed designed to make Earth more vulnerable. Their clean energy systems could be easily disabled, their medical treatments left humans dependent on Zarquin supplements, and their space travel technology was limited in ways that would prevent humans from venturing too far. Heart racing, Elena realized the terrible truth. The Zarquin were not saviors, but predators laying a trap. As she prepared to bring her findings to the authorities, Elena's lab door hissed open. Zelthor stood in the doorway, his 4 arms folded across his chest. "Dr. Rodriguez," he said, his voice dripping with false concern, "I'm afraid you've discovered something you weren't supposed to see." Elena's mind raced, searching for a way out. She knew that the fate of humanity might rest on her ability to expose the Zarquin's true intentions. With a deep breath, she steeled herself for the confrontation that would determine the future of her species. "I know what you're really here for," Elena said, her voice steady despite her fear. "And I won't let you destroy my world." Zelthor's face contorted into a sinister grin. "Oh, my dear doctor," he hissed, "I'm afraid you don't have a choice." As Zelthor advanced, Elena realized that the real battle for Earth's survival was only just beginning. Humanity would need all of its courage, ingenuity, and determination to overcome the threat that lurked behind the Zarquin's benevolent facade. The deception had been revealed, but the true test of humanity's resilience was yet to come. As the first rays of dawn broke over the horizon, Earth stood on the precipice of its greatest challenge, a fight not just for survival, but for the very future of the human race. The hunters arrive. The world changed overnight. Dr. Elena Rodriguez's revelations about the Zarquin's true nature spread like wildfire, shattering the illusion of peaceful first contact. Governments scrambled to respond, but it was too late. The trap had already been sprung. As dawn broke over major cities across the globe, massive Zarquin warships descended from the clouds. Their sleek, predatory forms cast long shadows over panicked populations. The vessels that had once been hailed as harbingers of a new age of cooperation now loomed as instruments of conquest. Commander Sarah Chen of the hastily formed Earth Defense Force stood atop the Pentagon, watching as the first wave of Zarquin dropships pierced the atmosphere. Her jaw clenched as she turned to her assembled officers. "Ladies and gentlemen," she said, her voice steady despite the chaos erupting around them, "this is the moment we've trained for. Humanity faces its greatest threat, but we will not go quietly into the night. We fight not just for ourselves, but for every generation that will come after us." As Sarah's words echoed across the command center, the first reports of ground combat flooded in. The Zarquin warriors were formidable, each standing over 8 feet tall, with exoskeletons that seemed to shrug off conventional weapons fire. Their forearms wielded advanced energy weapons that cut through human defenses with terrifying ease. In New York, the Statue of Liberty's torch flickered and died as Zarquin EMPs disabled the city's power grid. In Moscow, the onion domes of St. Basil's Cathedral stood silhouetted against a sky filled with alien dropships. And in Beijing, the Great Wall became a last line of defense as Chinese forces rallied to repel the invaders. Amidst the chaos, pockets of human resistance began to form. In London, Royal Marines barricaded themselves in the Tower of London, using the ancient fortress as a bastion against the alien tide. In Rio de Janeiro, civilians armed with nothing more than improvised weapons fought street by street, their determination matching the ferocity of the Zarquin assault. Dr. Elena Rodriguez found herself at the heart of the resistance. Her understanding of Zarquin technology made her an invaluable asset. Working from a hidden bunker beneath the Rocky Mountains, she raced against time to find weaknesses in the alien invaders' seemingly impenetrable defenses. "They're exoskeletons," she muttered, poring over data collected from the front lines. "They're not just armor. They're life support systems. The Zarquin can't survive in Earth's atmosphere without them." This revelation sparked a glimmer of hope. If humanity could find a way to disrupt the exoskeletons, they might stand a chance against their technologically superior foes. Meanwhile, in orbit, the remnants of Earth's space forces engaged in a desperate battle against the Zarquin fleet. Captain Michael Okonkwo of the EDS Resilience watched as his fellow ships were picked off one by one. The Zarquin vessels moved with an almost organic grace, their weapons tearing through human shields like paper. "We can't beat them in a straight fight," Michael realized, his hands gripping the command chair. "But maybe we don't have to." Drawing on years of tactical training and a lifetime of human ingenuity, Michael formulated a daring plan. Using the moon's gravity well, he led the Resilience on a slingshot maneuver that brought them hurtling towards Earth at incredible speed. At the last moment, he ordered all power diverted to the ship's kinetic barriers. The Resilience plowed through a Zarquin dreadnought, the impact sending both ships spiraling towards the atmosphere in a ball of fire. As warning klaxons blared and his crew braced for impact, Michael allowed himself a grim smile. They might not survive, but they had proven that the Zarquin weren't invincible. On the ground, the situation grew increasingly dire. Major cities fell one by one as the Zarquin methodically expanded their control. Refugees flooded into rural areas, carrying with them tales of the aliens' cruelty and the fate that awaited those who were captured. In the heartland of America, farmers and ranchers formed militias, using their intimate knowledge of the land to wage a guerrilla war against Zarquin patrols. In the Amazon rainforest, indigenous tribes melted into the jungle, emerging to strike at alien supply lines before disappearing back into the green depths. Commander Sarah Chen, coordinating the global resistance from her mobile command center, received reports from these scattered forces. Each small victory, each moment of defiance, reinforced her belief in humanity's resilience. "We may be outgunned," she told her weary staff, "but we will never be outmatched in spirit. Humanity has faced extinction before, from ice ages, from plagues, from our own folly. Each time, we've emerged stronger. This time will be no different. As the first month of the invasion drew to a close, humanity found itself pushed to the brink. Conventional militaries lay in ruins, governments operated from hidden bunkers, and millions of civilians struggled to survive in a world turned upside down. Yet, in labs and workshops around the world, human scientists and engineers worked tirelessly to turn the tide. They reverse-engineered captured Zarquin technology, developed new weapons and defenses, and sought ways to exploit the invaders' newfound vulnerabilities. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, her eyes red-rimmed from endless hours of work, finally looked up from her computer with a spark of triumph. "I've got it," she whispered, her voice hoarse. "A way to disrupt their exoskeletons. It's not a silver bullet, but it's a start." As news of Elena's breakthrough spread through the resistance network, a renewed sense of hope began to take hold. Humanity had weathered the initial onslaught, and now, armed with knowledge and burning with determination, they prepared to strike back. The Zarquin, so confident in their superiority, had underestimated the species they sought to conquer. They had not accounted for human creativity, for the indomitable spirit that had carried mankind from caves to the stars. As the resistance gathered strength and prepared for a counteroffensive, one thing became clear: the hunters were about to become the hunted. Human ingenuity unleashed. The dawn of humanity's counteroffensive broke over a world forever changed. Cities lay in ruins, great swaths of land stood abandoned, but in hidden enclaves across the globe, hope flickered to life like a flame in the darkness. Dr. Elena Rodriguez's breakthrough in disrupting Zarquin exoskeletons became the cornerstone of humanity's fight back. In underground labs and makeshift workshops, humans of all backgrounds united in an unprecedented collaboration to turn this knowledge into a weapon. In the remnants of Silicon Valley, tech geniuses worked alongside garage tinkerers to develop what they called the disruptor, a device that could emit a targeted electromagnetic pulse capable of shorting out Zarquin life support systems. The challenge lay in its limited range and power requirements, but human ingenuity rose to meet it. Commander Sarah Chen, coordinating from a mobile command center hidden in the Rocky Mountains, received the first prototype with a mix of hope and trepidation. "It's not much to look at," she mused, turning the bulky device over in her hands, but neither was the first computer. And look how that turned out. The Resistance's first major offensive was planned for New York City, once a symbol of human achievement, now a stronghold of Zarquin occupation. Under cover of a stormy night, small teams of resistance fighters infiltrated the city, armed with disruptors and a desperate courage. Among them was Jack Torres, a former subway worker whose knowledge of the city's underground network proved invaluable. As his team emerged from a maintenance tunnel near Central Park, the alien-occupied skyline loomed before them, a jarring sight that still felt unreal. "Remember," Jack whispered to his team, "we're not just fighting for New York. We're fighting for Earth, for humanity. Let's show these squid-faced bastards what we're made of." The operation began with a series of coordinated strikes on Zarquin patrols. The aliens, accustomed to their technological superiority, were caught off guard by the sudden effectiveness of human weapons. As disruptors activated, Zarquin warriors found themselves gasping for air, their exoskeletons failing. News of the success in New York spread rapidly through the global resistance network. Similar operations were launched in other occupied cities: London, Tokyo, Moscow, Rio de Janeiro. Humanity, long on the defensive, was finally pushing back. But the Zarquin were far from defeated. As reports of the new human weapon reached the alien command, they began to adapt. Patrol patterns changed, defenses were bolstered, and work began on countermeasures to the disruptor technology. In orbit, the space battle took on a new dimension. Captain Michael Okonkwo, having survived the Resilience's kamikaze attack, now led a ragtag fleet of retrofitted civilian ships. Using salvage Zarquin tech and good old-fashioned human audacity, they harried the alien fleet, disrupting supply lines and communications. During one daring raid on a Zarquin fuel depot in lunar orbit, Michael's crew made a startling discovery. The aliens' faster-than-light drives relied on a rare element not found in Earth's solar system. This intelligence, quickly relayed to Earth, opened up new strategic possibilities. Back on the ground, the Resistance faced a new challenge. The Zarquin, realizing the threat posed by human adaptability, began a campaign of mass abductions. Thousands of Earth's brightest minds, scientists, engineers, artists, were taken presumably to be studied or eliminated. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, working from a hidden lab in the Amazon rainforest, received the news with a mix of anger and determination. "They're scared," she told her team, a fierce glint in her eye. "They've realized that our creativity, our ability to innovate and adapt, is our greatest weapon. And now, we're going to use it to hit them where it hurts." Elena's new project focused on turning the Zarquin's own technology against them. By reverse engineering captured alien communications devices, she aimed to crack their encryption and gain access to their battle plans. Meanwhile, in the war-torn streets of formerly occupied cities, humanity's resilience shone through. Communities came together, transforming rubble into fortifications, repurposing alien tech for human needs. In Paris, the Eiffel Tower became a broadcast antenna for the Resistance. In Cairo, the pyramids concealed vast underground bunkers. The human spirit of innovation extended to unexpected places. In the Australian outback, Aboriginal trackers combined their ancient knowledge with modern tech to create an early warning system for Zarquin movements. In the Arctic, Inuit hunters used their understanding of ice and weather to ambush alien patrols. As the conflict stretched into its second year, a new form of art and culture emerged from the crucible of war. Musicians composed stirring anthems of resistance, their melodies a reminder of what humanity fought to preserve. Writers and poets captured the experience of Earth under siege, their words a testament to the human spirit's indomitability. In orbit, Captain Michael Okonkwo's fleet scored a major victory. Using the intelligence about the Zarquin's fuel needs, they laid a trap for a major resupply mission. The resulting battle lit up the night sky, visible from Earth as a spectacle of flashes and explosions. When the dust settled, humanity had captured several intact alien ships, a treasure trove of advanced technology. On the ground, Jack Torres led a mission deep into Zarquin-controlled territory. Their objective, one of the aliens' primary cloning facilities, where they created reinforcements for their army. The raid was a high-risk operation, but the potential payoff, disrupting the enemy's ability to replenish their forces, was too great to ignore. As Jack's team infiltrated the facility, they made a chilling discovery. The Zarquin weren't just cloning soldiers, they were experimenting on captured humans, trying to understand and replicate the source of humanity's adaptability and creativity. "This ends now," Jack growled, setting charges as his team worked to free the human prisoners. The explosion that destroyed the facility was seen for miles around, a fiery declaration that humanity would not be subject to such horrors. As news of these victories spread, hope surged through the human population. People emerged from hiding, joining the resistance in ever greater numbers. The tide of war, so long against humanity, began to turn. But the Zarquin were far from defeated. As human victories mounted, the alien leadership prepared for a devastating counterstrike. They had underestimated humanity once. They would not make the same mistake again. In hidden labs and secret war rooms, on the streets of reclaimed cities, and in the depths of space, humanity steeled itself for the next phase of the conflict. They had proven their worth as warriors, but the true test was yet to come. The fate of Earth, and perhaps the galaxy, hung in the balance. As Commander Sarah Chen told her troops on the eve of a major offensive, "We've shown them our strength, our courage, our ingenuity. Now let's show them what happens when humanity is pushed to the brink and pushes back." The stage was set for a confrontation that would determine the future of both species. Humanity, once the hunted, was ready to become the hunter. The great counterattack. The winds of change swept across Earth as humanity prepared for its most ambitious offensive yet. 2 years of grueling conflict had honed the resistance into a formidable fighting force, and now, armed with reverse-engineered Zarquin technology and their own irrepressible spirit, they stood ready to reclaim their world. Commander Sarah Chen surveyed the holographic war map in her underground command center. Red markers indicating Zarquin strongholds were interspersed with blue dots representing human-controlled areas. The plan was audacious. A coordinated global assault designed to break the back of the alien occupation once and for all. "This is it, people," Sarah addressed her assembled staff, her voice steady and determined. "Operation Thunderbolt. We hit them everywhere, all at once. We've got one shot at this, so let's make it count." As the 0 hour approached, resistance cells worldwide made their final preparations. In the Highlands of Scotland, kilted warriors armed with disruptors and claymores readied themselves to retake Edinburgh Castle. In the sweltering jungles of Vietnam, guerrilla fighters prepared ambushes along Zarquin supply routes. And in the vast Australian outback, a fleet of weaponized road trains, massive trucks converted into mobile fortresses, rumbled towards alien mining operations. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, now leading a team of the world's brightest minds, put the finishing touches on humanity's secret weapon. Dubbed Project Phoenix, it was a virus designed to infiltrate and corrupt Zarquin computer systems. If successful, it would cripple the aliens' command and control capabilities, leaving their forces in disarray. "It's ready," Elena announced, her fingers flying over a keyboard as she initiated the upload sequence. "Now we just need to get it into their primary data hub." That crucial task fell to Jack Torres and his elite team of infiltrators. Their target, the Zarquin Central Command ship hovering over the ruins of Washington, D.C. as they prepared for their stealth insertion. Jack looked at each member of his diverse team. A former MI6 agent, a Maasai warrior, a teenage hacker prodigy, and others. Each represented the best of humanity, united in a common cause. "Whatever happens up there," Jack said, his voice gruff with emotion, "it's been an honor fighting alongside you all." As dawn broke, Operation Thunderbolt began. Across the globe, human forces surged forward. The element of surprise, coupled with their new technologies, gave them an early advantage. In New York, resistance fighters emerged from the subway system to ambush Zarquin patrols. In Moscow, sleeper agents activated hidden weapons caches, arming the populace for a mass uprising. In orbit, Captain Michael Okonkwo led the assault on the Zarquin fleet. His Ragtag Armada, bolstered by captured alien vessels, engaged the enemy in a furious battle. Explosions lit up the sky as human ingenuity clashed with alien technology. "Push them back," Michael shouted over the comms as his ship, the newly christened EDS Defiant, dove through a hail of energy blasts to deliver a crippling blow to a Zarquin cruiser. "Earth's freedom depends on us keeping them pinned up here." On the ground, the fighting was intense and often hand-to-hand. In Paris, resistance fighters battled alien troops on the Champs-Élysées, the iconic avenue becoming a war zone. In Tokyo, samurai-inspired mechs, fusion-powered exoskeletons wielding energy katanas, carved through Zarquin ranks. But the key to victory lay with Jack Torres and his team. Using a combination of stealth tech and sheer audacity, they managed to board the Zarquin command ship. Fighting their way through alien-designed corridors, they finally reached the central data hub. "Okay, kid, you're up," Jack said to Zoe, the teenage hacker. Her fingers were a blur as she worked to upload the Phoenix virus. Suddenly, alarms blared. They'd been detected. As Zarquin troops converged on their position, Jack and his team formed a defensive perimeter around Zoe. "Almost there," Zoe muttered, sweat beading on her forehead as she raced against time. The firefight was fierce. Jack watched in horror as his team members fell one by one, buying time with their lives. Just as it seemed all was lost, Zoe let out a triumphant yell. It's done. Phoenix is in their system. Across the battlefield, the effects were immediate and dramatic. Zarquin ships suddenly lost power, drifting aimlessly in space. On the ground, alien troops found their weapons and exoskeletons malfunctioning. The tide of battle shifted decisively in humanity's favor. As news of the success spread, human forces pressed their advantage. Cities were liberated one by one, with civilians emerging from hiding to join the fight. The Australian road train convoy smashed through weakened Zarquin defenses, reclaiming vast swaths of the outback. In the Amazon, indigenous warriors led a charge that drove the aliens from the rainforest. But the war was not yet won. In a desperate move, the Zarquin leadership activated a doomsday weapon, a massive gravitational device capable of tearing the Earth apart. As the planet began to shudder, Commander Sarah Chen realized that the fate of humanity now rested on a knife's edge. All units, she broadcast globally, her voice calm despite the stakes, converge on the doomsday device. This is our final push. For Earth, for humanity, for our future. As tremors rocked the planet, human forces rallied for one last, desperate assault. The battle that followed would determine not just the outcome of the war, but the very survival of the human race. In orbit, Captain Michael Okonkwo led a suicide run against the Zarquin flagship, hoping to create a breach for ground forces to exploit. On the surface, Jack Torres, the sole survivor of his team, fought his way towards the alien leaders, driven by vengeance and the weight of humanity's hopes. And in her command center, Commander Sarah Chen watched the unfolding battle, knowing that the next few hours would write the final chapter of this interstellar conflict. Victory was within grasp, but at what cost? And what would humanity become in the aftermath of this existential struggle? As the fate of Earth hung in the balance, the true mettle of the human spirit was about to be tested like never before. A new galactic order. The battle for Earth's survival reached its climax as humanity threw everything it had at the Zarquin doomsday device. The planet shuddered, great fissures opening in the Earth's crust as the alien weapon strained the very fabric of the world. In orbit, Captain Michael Okonkwo's suicide run paid off. The EDS Defiant, engines blazing at maximum capacity, plowed into the Zarquin flagship's command deck. The resulting explosion created a breach large enough for a small team of human fighters to infiltrate. On the ground, Jack Torres fought his way through waves of desperate Zarquin defenders. His body was battered, his armor cracked, but his eyes burned with an unquenchable fire. He had come too far, lost too much, to fail now. As Jack neared the control center of the doomsday device, he found himself face to face with the Zarquin Supreme Commander, Zelfor, the very alien who had deceived humanity at first contact. "You've lost, human," Zelfor sneered, his forearms brandishing advanced weaponry. "Even if you defeat me, the device is set. Your world will die, and my people will simply find another to conquer." Jack's response was a grim smile. "You still don't get it, do you? We're humanity. We don't know how to quit." The ensuing battle was fierce, a clash between alien technology and human determination. Jack was outgunned and outmatched, but he had one advantage: the strength born from fighting for everything he loved. As they fought, Dr. Elena Rodriguez worked frantically to understand and disarm the doomsday device. Surrounded by a team of the brightest minds humanity had to offer, she raced against time to save the planet. "It's not just a weapon," Elena realized, her eyes widening as she deciphered the alien technology. "It's a gateway. They were going to tear Earth apart to create a stable wormhole for their invasion fleet." This revelation spurred the team to even greater efforts. If they could repurpose the device, it could be humanity's key to the stars. Back in the control center, Jack finally gained the upper hand against Zelfor. As the alien leader lay defeated, Jack's hand hovered over the kill switch. "Do it," Zelfor goaded. "Prove that humans are no better than us." Jack's hand trembled, then dropped. "No," he said, his voice heavy with the weight of all humanity had endured. "We are better, and we'll prove it by what we do next." At that moment, Alina's voice crackled over the comms. "We've done it. The device is disarmed. And, Jack, you won't believe this. We can control it. We can open gateways to other parts of the galaxy." As the news spread, a wave of jubilation swept across the planet. Humanity had not only survived, but had inherited the stars. In the days that followed, the remaining Zarquin forces surrendered. Humanity, led by Commander Sarah Chen, faced the monumental task of rebuilding their world and deciding what to do with their defeated foes. "We could imprison them, banish them," Sarah mused during a global council meeting. "But perhaps there's a better way. A way to break this cycle of conquest and retribution." And so, in a move that stunned both humans and Zarquin alike, Earth extended an offer of peace, not just a ceasefire, but a genuine attempt at coexistence and mutual understanding. It wasn't an easy path. There was resistance on both sides, old hatreds and fresh wounds that needed time to heal. But slowly, tentatively, a new order began to emerge. Human innovation, combined with Zarquin technology, led to rapid advancements. The scars left by the war began to fade as cities were rebuilt, greener and more resilient than before. The Doomsday device, once a tool of destruction, became a gateway to the cosmos. 5 years after the war's end, humanity launched its first extrasolar expedition. The ship, fittingly named Phoenix, carried a crew of both humans and reformed Zarquin. Their mission: to explore, to learn, and to ensure that the hard-won peace on Earth spread to the stars. As the Phoenix prepared to make its first jump, Captain Alina Rodriguez, for who else could lead such a mission, addressed her diverse crew. "We've been through hell," she said, her gaze sweeping over human and Zarquin faces alike. "We've seen the worst of each other and the best. Now we have a chance to write a new chapter, not just for our species, but for all the ones we've yet to meet." With a flash of energy, the Phoenix disappeared into the gateway, carrying with it the hopes and dreams of two species once locked in mortal combat, now united in a shared future. Back on Earth, in a quiet ceremony at the newly rebuilt United Nations headquarters, Commander Sarah Chen, now Secretary General Chen, unveiled a monument. It depicted a human hand and a Zarquin hand, not in conflict, but clasped in friendship. The plaque beneath it read, "To those who fought, to those who fell, and to the indomitable spirit that carried us from the brink of extinction to the threshold of the stars, may we never forget the cost of war, nor the value of peace." As the sun set on this new Earth, its light glinted off the monument, a testament to humanity's journey from hunted to hunters, and finally, to explorers and peacemakers. The stars beckoned, and humanity, tempered by fire and guided by hope, was ready to answer their call. In the vast tapestry of the cosmos, Earth's story was but a single thread. Yet it was a thread that shimmered with resilience, ingenuity, and the unquenchable spirit of a species that had looked into the abyss and not only survived but emerged stronger, wiser, and more united than ever before. The human adventure was just beginning.